A museum that's got guns. It's got post. Plus it's got lots of other great things, including an underground network you won't know about. This is the London Postal Museum. Are you ready? Stick with us. Here we go. We start with the Underground Mail Museum, and this is where you can find all sorts of things to do with the Underground Railway. But don't go. At the end of the video, we show you more about the Underground Railway and take a trip. In this section of the museum, you'll see how the railway was used to sort mail whilst it was on the go. Also, you get your own go at sorting some of the mail as well. Welcome to the Postal Museum, and this is a great adventure if you fancy getting out and about and seeing some different things. Also, just to highlight, this was shot pre-COVID, so they're not wearing masks for a reason. Yes, it was before the pandemic. What's incredible to believe is that under the streets of London are many of these underground tunnels where the mail was transported across London without the need to get caught in the normal London traffic. The museum and the railway is split across two buildings which are over the road from each other. To get here, the nearest stations are all about a 10-minute walk, and you can go to quite a number of them, including Farringdon, Chancery Lane, Holborn and King's Cross St Pancras, as well as Russell Square. What's quite incredible to believe is that this railway started construction in 1914 and was literally 20 metres under London streets. Going at 30 miles per hour, the construction started on the railway in 1914 and it eventually opened in 1927 and stopped service as the Mail Rail in 2003. The Mail Rail was so incredibly efficient that it linked up major sorting offices with the main railway stations so that post could get across London and out into the country, or the other way around, very quickly and efficiently, because by the time construction had been completed in 1927, London streets were packed. So this is the first section of the museum, which also houses the railway. The next part we're going to look at is the Royal Mail Museum, which is to do with the delivery of mail, plus everything else associated with the Royal Mail over the years. But stick with us, we're going to go on the train and show you some of the rail journey later in this video. Now we go over the road to the Royal Mail Museum. And how about this as a starter? This is the original sheet of the penny black. An average condition penny black can go for between $100 and $350, but guess how much a mint condition one would be? This is one of the original plates that printed it, and it was released as the first stamp on the 6th of May 1840. A mint condition penny black would go for $3,000 at auction. Now here in the museum you have this suction pipe system which is in use and you can play with, and you can send messages from one side of the museum to another. But get there early because there's often a queue to use it. Now you may be thinking, what's a telephone box doing at the Postal Museum? At one time it was the GPO, the General Post Office, which also included all things telecoms. This blue postbox was for airmail only. But what's interesting is the postbox was originally brought into service in 1852 and was coloured green, but most people said it was dreary and sort of blended in, so in 1874 they decided to paint it red, and that's the way it stayed. And here is an original red telephone box. On it you can see the crown, and one of the things that we love doing as a family is looking for the post boxes with the different initials for the different monarchs, because some of them date way back when. This is the uniform of the original postman, and yes, they are real guns. And this was the stagecoach, and as you can see, this was the Bristol to London, a Royal Mail stagecoach, which carried the mail between the two major cities. That was one way to stop the robbers and highwaymen from stopping the stagecoach, I suppose. And this is one of the original green post boxes I talked about earlier. For those of a certain age or older, you'll remember trying to force 5p's and 10p's when the telephone answered. And if you don't know what they are, ask someone who's probably over the age of 50. They'll know well. And this is from 2012, a gold postbox. Anyone that won a gold medal in the London 2012 Olympics had a postbox painted gold in their hometown to celebrate. And now the magic moment, the underground mail train, and yes, we're going on it. Included within your ticket price, you can go to the Postal Museum for 1 year from the date of your first visit, free of charge, but within that you only get one ride on the mail rail, which is valid on your first visit to the museum. So whatever you do, do not miss out on this. A word of warning, it's quite compact in here, so if you don't like small spaces, then this definitely isn't going to be the journey for you. The ride takes you the 20 metres underneath the streets of London, and the total ride journey is somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. As you can see, it's quite compact, but you get a great view with the overall arches being made of perspex so you can see right round you. Now, if you want to come to the Postal Museum, it's open Wednesday to Friday, 10:30 a.m. till 5 p.m, and at weekends between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. As you can see, it was quite quiet when we went, but we went near the end of the day and got the last train ride through. It is strongly recommended that you book your tickets in advance, especially now, to guarantee entry. And you can do that by visiting the Postal Museum website, which is www.postalmuseum.org. As you go round on the train, there's great commentary from a gentleman called Andy who used to work down in the tunnels, so he tells you so much about what's going on and where you're going and what you can see. As you can see, the tunnels are well lit so you can see where you're going, but it's a complete labyrinth of tunnels with different tunnels branching off. Also, the great thing is you can see where the other parts of the network went as well, with the tunnels going in different directions. And here you can see underneath where it went in another direction. The tunnels open up to reveal some of the sorting office stations, and as they do, the lights come on and they give you a great video display of what used to happen in this area and also some of the history behind the whole mail sorting office. I just love this map showing some of the route to the railway. We're under Mount Pleasant sorting office, heading east to Whitechapel. It was hard work down here, but we all thought we were part of something important. There was enormous team spirit. The train does a big loop, and before you know it, you're back in the museum where you started from. At peak times, you can expect to queue for a little while to get your turn on the train, so I would really advise book your time carefully, and I would definitely do it either first thing in the morning or near the end of the day. I hope you've enjoyed our visit to the Postal Museum and our trip on the train as well. If you like things like this, I've put a playlist in the top right hand corner of different transport around London. So if you like that sort of thing, then click on the playlist there and I'll see you in the videos.